All right, and welcome to Dreg. I'm not starting out very well.
That's okay.
Dred the Stigma. I am Otis B. Dredge, of course. The lovely Lydia Manson. I almost called you something else. The last name, it almost came out as something else. I can't think of what it was, but I caught myself. I caught myself. Maybe too many energy drinks today, but
We're
yes,
we're still recovering from yesterday's holiday.
I'm always in recovery then. This week we are going to talk music therapy, how music helps us, and what are some of Lydia and my go-to songs to either help lift us up or just go-to songs when we're down, how that helps us, and much, much more when it comes to music therapy. If we do have a few people joining in, thank you guys for joining. And if you can miss it, or if you can't miss it, here we go. If you couldn't catch us live and you're watching on our YouTube page, which is right down there, uh, then welcome. Yeah, right. Scrolling. That's fancy. It's fancy. Look, we both have the blurred.
Well, you did it, so I was like, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, we both have the blurred. I'm not in my normal studio, so
Yeah, my whole podcasting area has switched all around, so I'm just in my living room.
yeah. Well, hey, you got some youngins running around, so sometimes that doesn't work out very well. Um, we did do a little pilot episode 2 weeks ago. This is a bi-weekly podcast. If you're if you're new to us, you just found out about us. Thank you for being here. And last week we did just a little introduction of ourselves, what we're all about, what our mission, the who, what, why, when, what's going on here. And I came across a little article, more of like not really an op-ed, but just it goes through what exactly. I don't think people really understand, at least in my experience. People don't really understand what this stigma is that we talk about when it comes to mental health. Did with the people that you maybe talk to, Lydia, do they know what this stigma is? Because it's not. This isn't something that's on somebody who has a physical ailment such as cancer or
Yeah,
or things like that, because that is you can see that. Do you find that people are confused, like, or know what a stigma on mental health is?
I think it's harder for people to understand because, like you said, they don't see it. Um, so it's like then you feel like you have to prove it even more,
Yeah,
and it's like I shouldn't have to prove my mental illness, and then you know, it gets to the point where I don't want to say what I'm actually thinking anymore because last time I did, I got a fun little trip. So now it makes me just hold on to everything inside even more.
right. And with a lot of people, maybe our peers in our age group, growing up, not understanding, if you tell them, I'm depressed or I'm sad, or you go as to, an extreme like I did in my early teen years with the self-harm. And I guess I should throw this out there. I almost forgot. Uh,
Trigger warning.
yeah, trigger warning before we got into anything real deep. Uh, we will be, there is possibilities in this show, in this episode, and all other episodes where self-harm may come up, suicide may come up. Um,
not ways to do it, but
Not
ideations
ways
about
to
it.
do it right, and talking about it because it's kinda hard to talk about mental health and those topics, not come up. Different forms of abuse, may come up. So, uh, just wanna throw that out. I'm gonna get a trigger warning, thing to pop up
Yeah.
probably right before we play the intro. Um but yeah, like I was saying, yeah, the self-harm, that's not really received well when, you're a teenager. There is a lot of there's a lot of, you hold on to it. You don't there's a lot of teasing. Kids don't understand that.
Well,
There's
I've noticed, like, even now as an adult, um, I have been able to stray from that. It's been almost a year. Um, but for me, I feel like, and I don't know if this is just because, like, my anxiety is so bad, um, but I feel like the first thing people see about me are my scars.
Mhm.
And I have a friend, and we were talking about it one night, and he goes, "Yeah," he was like, "That was one of the first things I noticed about you." And
Yeah.
I mean, and he wasn't judgmental at all about it, but, you know, you've been on, film sets now, like, there's people you don't know, you've never met, that's not what I want my first impression to be, um, and I find that difficult.
It is difficult, and the film set that I was on, the director, took and sent in our group chat a still picture. Oh, actually, I think he posted it on Facebook, a
I think I
still
saw it.
picture. Yeah. The first thing I noticed was my right arm and all of the scars because I got a sleeve on this side to
Mhm.
prevent me because I'm right-handed, and it's helped to a point because then I just learned how to be ambidextrous
Yeah.
but that was the first thing that I noticed. I'm like, "Oh, wow, first time acting," but there was no judgment, there was it was I get it. I actually when it came to that, and I don't wanna get too far off topic, but, when it came to that, and the self-harming, I learned to do it by the seasons because it's kinda hard to walk around with a sweatshirt and long sleeves and everything in the dead of summer. Uh,
And I think we'll probably end up doing, like, a whole episode on that,
oh,
um,
absolutely.
but I know for me, one thing that helps is music.
Absolutely. And let me just run through these real quick because this is kind of in a little list form. We're going to try and bring up maybe an article in the beginning, something that's up to date, relevant, and this one I thought was relevant, being that we're jumping right in now and talking about stigma. What is this attached stigma to mental health? Now, let me get my old people glasses out here. There we go. Now I can see. Why does this stigma exist? Mental health carries a stigma, and as I mentioned, that physical health does not. And that usually stems, as this mentions, from historical misconceptions,
Mhm.
the lack of awareness, cultural attitudes that portray mental health problems as a sign of weakness and personal failing, which I think you've already touched on. You want to stuff those things down. You don't want to be judged by your peers. You don't want to, you fear possibly being thrown into a psychiatric unit,
Mhm.
which, is a little unnerving anytime that happens. But for your first time, that can be a little, and so you don't want to tell your therapist, oh, I'm feeling this way, because well, next thing you know, you got your own little personal, space in the local psych unit. So that can cause you to stuff that stuff down. Also, as we mentioned, rejected by your peers. You don't want to bring this stuff up because hey, they're gonna say, oh, don't mess with that guy or that girl. He or she may take and hurt themselves, or they're weird, and I don't know why they act like that, or
Mhm.
whatever it may be. I don't know what kids are saying now, but I was one of those that stuffed it down outside of maybe one or two of my close friends. Um, the impact of stigma on individuals. The stigma surrounding mental health can lead to significant consequences, including the reluctance to seek help. That was a big part with me, as well as insurance reasons. What I was diagnosed with, the insurance companies did not want to cover it because of the stigma on borderline personality disorder. It's loosened up quite a bit, but about 10 years ago, 15 years ago, mental health or borderline personality and health company and health insurance companies um, did not mesh very well. Have you found that to be a problem within getting help, or were you ever reluctant in getting help because of maybe the guilt you felt, or just trying not to let your true Lydia out?
Um, no, I've been seeing the same psychologist for almost 5 years now.
Mm,
Um, and she was recommended to me from my general practitioner.
okay,
Um, and then she recommended me to my psychiatrist, who I've been seeing for like 7 months now, who, he's better at the medications. He's more knowledgeable about that.
right,
But because each has recommended each other, they're able to talk about, because obviously one knows more about me than the other, so they're
exactly.
able to all help put a
In
plan
in in their
together.
own way, right,
So
right.
that's been my experience.
Okay. Societal expectations and mental health, which I think this is a huge one. You have two things here. The pressure to be normal. Now we all say, and I've always said it, normal is not really my thing. It's always been that way for me. Um, but I think even those of us who maybe go out of our way to be original, to look original, um, to act original, that's not what we're talking about here. I know as much as I don't want to be normal, I do up here. I don't want to, have the intrusive thoughts. I don't want to have all of the things that I deal with when it comes to PTSD or CPTSD, borderline, MDD, major depressive disorder. I don't like all them things going on in my head. So I do, I want to be normal in that way. But from an outsider's standpoint, it's almost like, they're, you're pressured to do something that maybe you don't even understand why you're doing.
Well, what is that saying? What is normal for the fish is chaos for the fly.
Absolutely.
So who
Absolutely.
defines normal anyways? I think it was just yesterday. When people ask you like how you doing, you never
Mhm.
really say like, you always just say I'm okay. I'm
Mhm.
okay.
I'm
And
fine.
and I was having a bad day and I said, not that great. And it got to the point where I said, I've accepted the fact that I'm never going to be okay.
Mhm.
And I think that, has helped a little, I guess.
Yeah, it absolutely will. And that's a hard, hump to get over is, understand. I sit and think very deeply about that okay, I'm probably going to be on medication my entire life.
Mhm.
to keep this balance going. Probably going to need therapy the better part of the rest of my life. I'm 51 now. I mean, I hope I still have quite a few years left, but um, that's hard to, that's the same as somebody suffering from, let's say, a physical ailment, and they are going to have to do things for the rest of their life, to prolong their life. It's the same thing, but again, the physical ailments can be seen. The mental, neurological issues cannot be seen so much. um, Here's a big one: the role of social media. Um,
Everybody's trying to look perfect.
Everybody is trying to look perfect. You couldn't have said it better, because it's basically what is being said here. Social media puts a standard, out there on, what people like. And I know it's been that way since, when I was a teenager. Um, and, I know it's that way now, and it's not any better then than or now than it was then. And that's hard. That's, back, yeah, of course, here we go. Back when I was a kid, we didn't have, internet, so, there was the, it was all just, TV. And you weren't in front of a screen all the time. Now you're getting bombarded with, these kind of things. And if you're not, if you don't really have a good self-esteem, or you're insecure, that is going to wreak havoc, on your mental health. Um and there's so much more, there's so much more bombarded nowadays, I believe, than maybe when, we just had MTV back when they played music. We just said there's that old right back in my day. um but yeah, so that, I mean, that just speaks for itself. Social media, of course, you have internalized self expectations. um their strength, how strong am I resilient, and the value that we hold. People may feel guilty for needing help. um there's a lot of us who like to just figure things out on their own, and mental health is not one of them. I tried that
Yeah.
uh, for a long time, and things only got worse. My alcoholism got worse. Everything got worse. Family dynamics, which is, next on this little list. And I don't think that really has. We know family can be very judgmental. I guess they feel because you're so close, they can say these things, not realizing they can be hurtful.
Mhm.
So you may not open up to family. And then finally, what can we do to break this cycle of guilt, which, is there's a lot of men. Stand up, say something, get help. You're not weak. You're not being demasculine. You be if you ask for help. Education and awareness, which is exactly what we're trying to do here. And support systems and resources are another great way to end this cycle of guilt, letting people know it's okay to need help. Not all of us are able to get through the things that, we think we should be able to do. That's something that's always going through my head. I should be able, I shouldn't be this way at this age or that age. Well, no, when I said those before, nothing was being treated. So, all right, let's talk some music therapy.
Yes.
This is our main topic here. We're all music lovers, at least Lydia and myself are, and we're going to talk, I think, a little bit about your traditional music therapy, and how that works and how that can help in that sense, and also what we do, I guess, to self therapeutic
Yep.
uses of music. Where do you want to start with, Lydia? You took notes. I need to
I
give
did.
you
I got notes.
you got lots of notes over
Um,
there.
so music therapy is a legit thing. Um, there is uh it's different than just listening to music. Like we
Yes.
get upset and we put on a playlist.
Hmm.
Music therapy is actually a qualified music therapist that has a plan and leads the session within a therapeutic relationship for it to qualify as a form of treatment. And music therapy can be used to treat things from dementia, TBIs, strokes, Parkinson's, substance abuse, anxiety disorders, mood disorders, cancer, um, learning development, learning and developmental disabilities. Um, and this differs from therapeutic music, where it's just you and it helps you relax and helps your emotions. Um, but what do you do in a session of music therapy? Like like I'm just going to sit there and look at this guy or girl and listen to a song? Like, is that, but what you're doing, you can create music together.
Hmm.
You can sing music, uh, play an instrument while you're with them. You can improvise and just, come up with something between the two of you. Um, you can move to music, dancing, discuss lyrics in songs that relate to you,
Hmm.
and your issues. Um, or you just listen to music. You can just do that.
And it's really that simple. Now, about a year ago, I did a like 5-day stay to get my mental health on track, and they had a music therapy. And I attended all the different therapies that they would have going on throughout the day. If one didn't benefit me, I wouldn't go. Music therapy was different, and you mentioned quite a few things that we did in my particular session, and one was just like improving. She had this little thing where she could make a beat, and she was an older lady, so it was kind of funny to see her try to be all hip and everything. But yeah, it was going around the room and just improving things to music. Listen, analyzing lyrics, which I am like OCD about, I think.
Which we'll be doing when we bring up our songs that we
Absolutely.
chose.
I That's the one thing that gets me. But I just wanted to throw that in there. You were
Mhm.
speaking the truth, because I've been through a lot of those things that you said in that traditional setting, and it was in a group therapy. I haven't done like a one-on-one of music therapy.
Um, so as I was reading about this, there was like a whole long list of all the benefits of music therapy. Helps you relax, explore your emotions, reduces your anxiety or depression. I would say in the moment, I wouldn't say overall, but that's just a
Mhm.
personal opinion. Again, we are not medical professionals.
Yes.
Um, it can help improve your speaking and language skills. It can strengthen your self confidence, regulate your mood, strengthen your communication skills, build social skills, and form healthy coping skills. But now, on the opposite spectrum, there really is no negative benefits. There's no really, the only risk that I seem to find would be that it would be a possible trigger to painful memories or unexpected memories that you didn't
Sure.
didn't recall on your own. So overall, I mean, in black and white on paper, it feels like music therapy is really good.
You can't, it doesn't seem like you can, go wrong. And when I was looking into, music therapy over the course of the past week or so, I was finding the same thing. Yes, if you play songs, maybe if you're just doing that self-therapeutic, avenue, then yeah, you can trigger up some bad memories. It can be counterproductive in that sense, but overall, I don't think you can really go wrong
Yeah.
with music. And it really got I found myself going down a rabbit hole, Lydia, because I mean, just you even mentioned cancer, and that's the rabbit hole I started going
Right?
veering off in. It's like, wait a minute, no, music can help in relieving pain,
Well,
you
haven't they
know?
even I think it was on Mythbusters, there was an episode where they had planted different things and they played certain music to each of the different plant. I mean, they were all the same
Mm,
plant, but they were planted,
mhm.
in separate pots. And like one plant got played heavy metal, one plant got played pop music, so on and so forth. And they all did respond differently. So,
No.
music does affect us even on a level like that. But there is a comment, so because
Yes, I seen that, and I was gonna say before we went on, and if I had my normal setup, I'd be able to tell who exactly this is.
yeah,
But Facebook uses my 21-year-old son is really struggling with the false perfection of social media and the reality of his own accomplishments. Yeah, your own accomplishments, and I'm sorry to hear that, but that's the sad truth of it.
mhm,
And you're not able to take and realize, what you're doing, and your accomplishments, because you don't look this way, and you're not. It's horrible.
I read
And
something once that it basically went down to your accomplishments are something that somebody else is reaching for.
mm,
So,
that's that's pretty profound.
you shouldn't, don't belittle your own accomplishments because there's other people that wish that they could reach there.
Yeah. Other people are striving to be where you're at right now, and that can be a hard realization and understanding, especially, you know, dealing with what a lot of us deal with, and the
Mhm.
different mental ailments. Sean Smithson from Smithson Creation. Music is amazing therapy for me. A lot of people didn't understand that it helped and helps me all the time. Music in all ways, listening, singing, playing, and making it. Huge motivator for people, absolutely. And a lot. I'll just save this for when we get into our songs. But
So,
what else we got here, Lydia?
what are 10 ways that music helps with mental health?
Okay.
Number one, validation and understanding. So you're hearing a song and it reflects your feelings and it reminds you that you're not alone. You're not the only one that's feeling that.
Mm. That those
Uh,
are usually the songs that I resonate with.
yep, same. Number two is the expression of emotions. Songs help put words or melodies to complex emotions that you might not be able to articulate otherwise.
Mhm.
Number three, it creates a safe place. So, listening to music is a private experience and it allows you to confront and process your emotions without judgment.
Mm.
The next one is it promotes open discussion. So, popular songs, and when I was looking for songs about mental health, I really went with the ones that I know personally, but reading through like different lists, there's some pretty popular artists on there.
Mhm.
So popular songs by these big artists about mental health can lead to broader conversations and promote more understanding for mental
Absolutely.
health. Um, it can be a distraction and a comfort. So it can serve as a temporary escape, allowing the listener to focus on the lyrics or the melody instead of their own distress.
Hmm.
Um, it can be a cathartic experience. Certain songs can trigger a release of emotions, and just being able to sit there and break down and cry can lead to a sense of relief. Like, I know there's certain songs that I won't listen to because I know it's going to make me cry. Um, but it's one of those ways that help you get it out.
I'll
Um,
sit if I can interrupt, like on that note, if I sit there's songs right now, and I can be in just a fine mood.
mhm,
But the words and the lyrics will resonate with me so much that my eyes will start welling up. All of this emotion just comes pouring out, and I do. I feel like a weight that I didn't even realize was on me was lifted, and you just kind of getting rid of that baggage that otherwise you wouldn't be able to express, or a grown man sitting and crying over a song. Again, the guilt of that
yep.
going on. I think especially with men, but yeah, it's all true. It's damn true.
um, Also, guidance and hope. Songs about mental health discuss the struggle, but also will give you a message of hope and resilience that maybe
Hmm.
you didn't think could happen.
Hmm.
Um, Therapeutic use. We've talked about music therapy. Music therapy is recognized as a therapeutic approach where the music is used to address physical, emotional, cognitive, and social needs. So while listening to songs about mental health isn't the same as actual form of therapy, it can have therapeutic effects for many. So that is
Hmm.
basically just using it for therapeutic versus traditional therapy. But we've
Sure.
already discussed that.
Hmm.
Um, it can facilitate connections. Sharing music that speaks to one's mental health can help your friends and family better understand what you are going through.
Yeah.
And I think that is probably one of the best ways,
Yeah.
because it's like, well, I can't put into words how I'm feeling, but these people have gotten pretty close, and if you listen to it, maybe you can understand.
Yeah. I do that a lot. It's to the point where if some of my family members hear me listening to certain songs, they'd be like, "Are
Mhm.
you okay?" And
Right.
and it's like, "No, I'm fine. I just actually wanted to listen to this in a good mood."
Right.
Um, but I'll throw songs if I'm feeling down. I don't know how to really explain it. There's a lot of artists, which we have a full list of artists that have the ability to put that into words and into music, and a lot of times I will use uh, their song and their lyrics to convey how I feel. It's easier for me sometimes,
Mhm.
and it does, again, just to kind of hit a couple of the points in that list. It does spark conversation. There's certain songs that I've listened to with my wife that will get me on a 30-minute tangent about childhood memories. I had
Mhm.
no idea where it came from, but the song kind of was that incendiary and kind of got it started. So it promotes discussion. And that's really what we need to have: discussion, open discussion, guilt free, judgment free discussion. And we'll feel a hell of a lot better about it.
And then the last one is it enhances self-awareness.
Mm,
So being able to reflect on the lyrics or the emotions that a song evokes can lead to increased self awareness, which is essential to the helping process. The only way you're
Mhm.
going to get better is if you're accepting that this is the issue I have. I'm self-aware of what I'm going through and how I'm projecting myself, I would say.
Right, right. We've Facebook user. I wish I could call you out by your name, but
Right?
it seems so impersonal.
We do
Hey, I love.
appreciate you.
I know, right? All the same. Hey, I love what you're saying about lyrics, but I'm wondering if you experience the same things with instruments. My cello does it for me. I don't play any instruments, but I can certainly. I've used like classical music,
Yep.
Mozart, things like that, because I read years ago that I when I first started messing around trying to get tech savvy, I'd get so frustrated,
Mhm.
and I'm listening to my metal and whatnot, and I'm just getting so frustrated. And I didn't realize how much music affected you and your thinking and calming you down if you listen to the right music that has that effect. And instrumentals like
Even the song, our opening instrumental song, like, there's no
yes,
lyrics to that.
nope,
And, when Edward Grant wrote that for me, we had already been friends for a while. He saw my mental health posts that I would talk about. So I think he took that into consideration when he made that song. And
hmm
listening to that, it does invoke certain feelings. Um, so that is Maureen who left
oh,
that comment. She was actually the director of The Board, which is the last film that I did. So
okay,
thank you for
awesome,
watching,
welcome, Marie.
Maureen.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, but so being that I don't play an instrument, I would love. Now my son, he plays guitar. And I know that that is very therapeutic if he gets
Oh, I'm sure
stressed
it's a great
out.
release.
Yeah, if he gets angry or stressed out, boom, he picks up the guitar, he gets lost in that. He releases, takes all that energy and puts it out, in his guitar. So I wish I was. I've been wanting
I
to
wish I
learn.
could play something.
Me too. Me too. Because I see what it does for him and other people I've known that play instruments. Yeah, I wish I could. Um,
So we have both picked 6
yes.
songs that we feel are important and
hmm
have a mental health um, message behind them.
Yes.
And so you don't have to hear us talk completely for however long. We're going to switch back and forth. So Otis is going to do a song. I'm going to do a song. And there we go.
All right. So you want me to start?
You could start.
All right. And this is in no particular order for me
Same.
as
It's not like I wrote it as my top, absolute
the
favorite. It's just,
top
yeah.
six, right? The first one I have on my list is Liar's Funeral by Slipknot. Um, this is a pretty dark song. But it does have that positive spin off of it. It does talk about, again, trigger warning, it does talk about suicide. It and which is, you could probably see maybe where the direction of the song goes with Liar's Funeral. You'll hear a soft melodic, verses saying how much I got a rope, blah, 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 going into the lyrics of wanting to hurt himself, end his life. And then this growl comes in and yells, liar. You're a liar.
Hmm.
You don't want to do this. You want to take away the pain But as the old cliche goes, it's a permanent solution to a temporary problem.
Right.
Um, and so that one, because I guess self harm and that aspect of my mental health has been so prominent for probably 35 plus years. Uh, that song, I always kind of go to that when I'm down, but it's not strictly, you're worthless, and there is a positive spin um, in it, and telling you, hey, clench your fists and stand up, and you're going to get through it, type deal. So there's mine.
Um, so my first one is a song called Anxiety.
I
Um,
wonder what that's about.
I have no idea. Let's find out. And it is by Sophie Pecora, and I hope I'm saying that right. She's a younger artist.
Mhm.
Um, and so obviously the mental illness that I associate with this song is anxiety. Because some of her lyrics are, I don't know, it's like to I don't know what it's like to breathe normally without this, which I
Mm.
mean, for me, one of my biggest things of anxiety is it literally feels like there's something sitting on my chest and I can't breathe. Um, she writes, I'm never really comfortable no matter what I do. Spiders are crawling up and down my back, always waiting for an attack. I've been hoping I could find something that'll help me cope because I feel, and maybe you agree with this, anxiety is like a dread that it's never going to end.
Mm.
That
There's no
then you're
light at the
never,
end
yeah,
of
there
the
is no light.
tunnel. Yeah. I know that probably resonates with a lot of people either
Mhm.
in the chat now or those watching at a later date. Absolutely. My son, again, deals with a lot of anxiety. He's actually fallen out at work, having a hard time breathing, panic attacks and things like that. So, yeah.
All right, you're up.
Oh, my, okay, all right. Wanted to make sure you were done. This is another one. A lot of mine you probably notice are a lot of metal. Nothing really all that soothing.
I
It
tried
was
to be like all over this. I tried to, you know,
I did
I
too.
figured people would expect me to do like a lot of rock and like metal songs, so I tried to kind of veer different
Yeah.
roads.
I did try that, but I kept coming back.
You got to come back to what is comfortable for you.
Exactly. And these are always a lot of go-to songs. The second one I got is a song called Manic. Like your song Anxiety. Wonder what this is about. It's from a band Wage War. Um, this song is, well, exactly what you would think it's about. Manic, being manic. I think listening to the lyrics, he mentioned, yeah, I stared, I stare at the walls all night, and talking about, things he can feel the panic creeping in. He can, oh God, what's gonna happen? He goes through, I'm turning manic. It was like he can almost feel it coming on. And I can relate to that because I can feel things not going in a direction that I want them to. Or I can feel myself straying from it's gonna be okay to that dread that you just talked about. That no, nothing's all right. Nothing's going to be okay. There's no light at the end of the tunnel, and then my brain just explodes, and I end up going, quite manic. One part that sticks out in this song to me is where it gets to, I guess, the breakdown, and you hear him, he takes a deep breath and he screams, I don't want to die. And I that always that always hits me. That's probably my favorite part of the song. And only because I've been manic and not that long ago. And I know the downward spiral that can lead to. And well, so that's mine. I don't want to say I could sit and talk about
Right.
but yeah, that's mine. Manic Wage War.
So how funny that my next song is called Manic,
I've
but it's
seen that in your list.
but it's
Yeah.
by an artist called Coleman Hell. Um, and obvious the mental illness I believe it is talking about is manic depressive.
Hmm.
So some of the lyrics that he uses in his song are the bad thoughts are creeping in, the bad thoughts are creeping in. There's a method to my sadness, it's a chemical imbalance. So I wrestle my demons till I go off the deep end, where I'm drowning and I can't come up for air.
Hmm.
Does that all sound like stuff when you're manic?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I've gotten, so manic. I can't catch my breath. I don't I forget to breathe while I'm saying sentences.
Mm-hmm.
And to the point where I'll almost pass out. My heart's beating out of my chest and I can't bring myself down. Yeah. That's pretty deep stuff. Is that all you got for that one? Am I on to mine?
You're on to yours.
I'm up to plate. Third one is a song called "Hang On" by Tom McDonald. Here's where I tried to veer off a little bit.
Tom McDonald
Uh,
is good.
this is a rapper, and this song it's definitely something that if the subject of suicide triggers you, well, you're probably not watching this, but definitely take a breather before you watch the video of this one. And it's basically what you think. Feeling like, man, nobody cares. One of the lyrics in there is, would anyone care if I jumped? Or if I jump, would anyone care? Um, my friends say keep hanging on, but I ain't got nothing to hold on to. So feeling that loss of just anything good, whether it be friends, family, or whatnot. So, I mean, I guess you can judge it yourself if you take and listen to it, or whether or not there's a positive message in it. But I think, in a sense, there is.
So my next song is called Fat Funny Friend, and the artist is Maddie, and I know I'm gonna mess up her last name. It's Zam, Zahim, I think it is. Um, but the mental illness that is portrayed in that is body dysmorphia.
Hmm.
Um, so the actual artist lost a lot of weight in real life.
Hmm.
Um, so I think this is like her way of, she was the fat, funny friend, and now, and even on my own weight loss journey, it's like, how do you define yourself now that you're not that person anymore?
Right.
Um, but some of her lyrics in the song include, I've drawn out in Sharpie where I'd take the scissors if that's what it took for me to look in the mirror, so
Wow.
you want to cut off parts of yourself just to make yourself feel more like how other people should view you. Um, I've done every diet to make me look thinner. So why do I still feel so goddamn inferior?
Hmm.
And do they keep me around so their flaws just seem silly? Because
Wow.
when you're the fat, funny friend,
Yeah.
you look 10 times better. I mean, the other people around you, they feel like they look
Mhm.
better compared to you,
Right, right.
so then that
Yeah.
makes you look at yourself in another light as well. So I know that song, it had like blown up on TikTok and it was like a huge thing, and I think it was a very powerful song and it sent a strong message, and I think it did help a lot of people because there was a lot of people that were making videos with that song and showing how they felt the same way. And as much as, like, we harp on how bad social media has affected people, it's things like this that
Mhm.
have helped.
Oh, absolutely. And I hope that in future episodes, I came across the video. Um, this is off of the music therapy, but concerning borderline and the positives of having borderline personality disorder.
Mhm.
There are some positives in mental health. My next one on the list, we're on four, right? Yeah. Is called The Attendant by a band called Make Them Suffer. This one is a little bit slower one. This one is, from what I gathered, this one is portraying a person who is maybe still feeling off, if you will.
Mhm.
Somebody who is taking medications, is, kind of doing, what they're supposed to, and they're just not there. The chorus is, maybe it's the medicine, or maybe it's just the state I'm in. Um, I've struggled a lot with medications, so that's pretty much what I really took out of this. Still feeling like, you're just not there, um, and you're on the medication. Could it be the medications? A lot of medications will take and have you feeling them lows. It's a side effect we hear. They're very real.
Mhm.
And or is it just my head? Is it just, this or that in my everyday life? So be careful with the medications. Don't give up if you're going through that whole jumping through all them hoops. You'll find the
Yeah.
right one.
On average, it takes 6 different antidepressants to find one that will work for you.
That's crazy because I didn't know that until you told me a few weeks ago.
Mhm.
And yeah, I think I'm at my limit now.
And
So
if anybody else is struggling to find one that works for them, there is a gene test that you can take that will show what medications are best for your genes, and that will help you the most.
that's interesting. Yeah.
Um, but my next song is called Hi Ren, and it's by the artist Ren, and he is a rapper out of the UK.
Okay.
And if anybody has not listened to him, I strongly hope that you do because he's got a lot of great songs. A lot of them do talk about mental health and things like that. So the mental health issue for this, and I know I'm gonna mess it up. And I had never even heard of this until like I
Mhm.
was researching this. So in this, when you listen to the song, it's him talking to himself, and he has a darker voice as one of the versions of himself. So
Mm.
it's called Wetico, and it basically means a state of mistaken identity. And if you watch the music video, it's just Ren on his guitar in a room with a hospital gown on. So, I mean, just the imagery of that, just,
Yeah.
puts you into the space of, oh, this is about mental health and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So, his lyrics are, "It's been a while. Did you miss me? You thought you buried me, didn't you? I've been taking some time to be myself since my therapist told me I'm ill. I've been making some progress lately. and I've learned some new coping skills, so I haven't really needed you. And then the darker voice, you've got to kill you if you want to kill me. Um,
Mm.
and then the darker voice goes on to say, no one wants to hear another song about how much you hate yourself.
Wow.
And um Ren is like one of my new favorite artists. Like I said, he has a lot of songs um that speak about mental health and stuff. And I compare him to like a modern day Shakespeare rapper because that's like how his music is. It's they like some people call him the bard. Um and it's like his songs, all of them tell a story. Um so I highly suggest you check him out if
I'm
you.
going to make a mental note of that one because I already I'm already liking what I hear.
Mhm.
Uh, that's definitely one I want to check out. Next on my list is a song called "Keep Holding On" by Falling in Reverse. Excuse me. For any fans of Falling in Reverse, you may know, lead singer Ronnie Radke's, past, his struggles with, addiction, depression, things like that. This song, it's a little bit slower. I think a little bit more heartfelt than maybe a lot of his normal songs. This one gets me, hooked me right from the beginning. And the lyric starts or the song starts. I thought I had myself all figured out, but I spent my whole life holding myself down. Um, and it seems to be that sort of thing I keep doing constantly. First thing that popped in my head, self-sabotaging. I don't know if anybody's will self-sabotage. It's big with PTSD. Things start going good. You'll sabotage your own
Oh yeah.
happiness because this is something you're not familiar with. And
You
you
actually
need,
you find comfort in your
yeah,
mental illness because that's
yep,
all you know.
that's all you
And
know.
getting better is scary because you don't know how that is. So it's easy to just fall back into, "Oh, well, I know I'm depressed. I can stay here because that's what I know.
Hmm.
I don't know how to be happy, other than the facade." So
Right.
that's definitely, self-sabotage is real.
Yeah, no, it's very real. I do it all the time. It's to the point where my wife picks it out like, "Hey, look, what are you doing? There's nothing as bad going on as to what you're reacting or how you're reacting." The chorus in this song, and then I'll pass it over to you. I can't believe I'm standing here at all. I can't believe I made it this far. On my way with a smile on my face, see the top, and I'm not falling off. All I need is a microphone. I'll sing about the things that have been hurting me. It's safe to say, all the kids, I relate to their lives, so just keep holding on. And you're up.
So my next song is Bleed Like Me by the band Garbage. And this song actually addresses a few different mental health issues, anorexia, self harm, alcoholism. So each bridge tells a different story. Um, so some of the lyrics, like the first one, anorexia, she starves herself to rid herself of sin, and the kick is so divine when she sees bones beneath her skin.
Mm, that's 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 God. That
Right.
really gives you a visual, don't it?
Right? Because what what is the biggest thing especially, I mean, men, I don't take away the fact that men also suffer from anorexia and bulimia. There
Hmm.
are. Um but a majority of it is women
Yeah.
because, you look and you see these models, and it has gotten better over the years. Like, remember, what was it, like the early 2000s? It was like heroin chic and everybody was like super skinny, you
Hmm.
know? So I think that was, I think maybe this is when that song, because Garbage was more popular around the early 2000s.
Early 2000s. Yeah.
Um, so then it goes into Doodle takes Dad's scissors to her skin, and when she does, relief comes setting in.
Wow.
And, for those that do self harm, it's always because that is something you can control. You can't control
Mhm.
how depressed you are. You can't control all the craziness that's going on in your life. You can't control that, but you can control the pain that you do to yourself.
Yeah.
And then for alcoholism, the story is he gets all fucked up in some karaoke bar. After 2 drinks, he's a loser. And after 3 drinks, he's a star. So
I've
when we're
been there.
drinking, we think better of ourselves, which makes us want to drink more
Yeah.
and more.
Yeah. Absolutely. I can definitely relate to that. I always said that if my mental health got back on track, my alcohol intake would diminish quite a bit, and it
Mhm.
did because that was a coping mechanism. My last one is actually from a band that you kind of turned me on to. I knew of them, but you turned me on to the album simply called Trauma. Bet you can't guess what that album's about. By the
It
band
is an
I Prevail.
amazing album.
It is a really good album, and I find myself over the past month or so, I've had my down times, and I always go to the song "Breaking Down." Um, that one hits me in the feels. There are parts of that song where you kind of hear where we all, at least a lot of us with that anxiety, we tend to think that other people are thinking negative thoughts about us,
Oh
or
yeah.
nobody likes us,
Every
or
time I meet somebody, I'm like, oh, they hate me.
yeah, yeah. And that is very much like right thrown in your face with the song.
Yep.
Everybody hates you, everybody fucking hates you. Just that really, that self-doubting, that self-talk, that never usually shines a positive light. It's always negative. Goes through that, just breaking down, not being able to control this. To me, it's a lot of depression. And one thing I found is watching the video. They do a close up of his medication bottle, and I recognized the name on it. It happens to be the same medication I'm on, 10 milligrams of Lexapro, which is what he's portrayed as taking. I know at the end of the video, he does make a statement that the lead singer, Brian, deals with this. This is not just a song, it's not just to be trendy and hip. No, this is something he deals with every day. And I put a lot of stock in somebody who I know is dealing with this in real life, and being an artist and putting out their art in that way. I just take a little more stock in that than somebody who's never dealt with it and then sing
Yeah.
about it. So that's
Which
my
I think actually is a good segue into my last song, um, by the band Linkin Park.
mm,
And we all know, unfortunately, the lead singer, Chester Bennington, did unalive himself. Um, and if you look back in all his songs, it's like he's been telling us all along, you know. But the song I did choose in particular was Crawling. Um, and I've been listening to Linkin Park since, you know, I think my freshman year of high school. So we're talking like, oh my God, 21 years ago. Um, but the mental illness that I associate it with is insecurity.
Hmm.
So he he says this lack of self-control I fear is never ending. Um, these wounds they will not heal, and that could be your physical self-harming or your just emotional
Emotional wounds.
wounds
Yeah.
inside. Um, Against my will, I stand beside my own reflection. I get that. You don't even want to look in the mirror anymore at yourself. Um, it's haunting how I can't seem to find myself again. And I say this all the time, like the person I am now is not the person I was before I started dealing with all this. And it's taken a lot to realize I'm not going to get that person back. She's gone, you know? So as much as I miss her and being her, I have to realize that I'm never going to be her again.
Yeah.
So I get, not being able to find yourself again. And of course, the opening line to the song, which I'm sure everybody knows, there's something inside me that goes beneath the surface. So, like we said before, mental illness is you can't see it. So, what is it? It's right
Yeah.
underneath your skin. It's
And I think that, that's why people think, you hear the things like, just get over it. As you've seen in our intro, all
Mhm.
the different little sayings of how people want to respond to somebody, excuse me, and they come from, places of ignorance, and that being not knowing, not being educated
Yeah.
on maybe what the person is dealing with, that loved one or friend. There's a lot of do's and don'ts when it comes to dealing with somebody with mental illness. On the the from the music aspect, one of your friends that friend or loved one that is struggles with anxiety, depression, PTSD, any mental illness, and send you a song. Pay attention. A lot of times, those suffering will, as I mentioned, I do a lot, don't take and know how to, really say how I'm feeling.
Mhm.
I use music. Um,
Same.
and a lot of times, with the songs that we have mentioned tonight, or similar songs, um, so pay attention to that. There's a couple comments. I'm trying not to leave anybody out before we get out of here. Sean Smithson, heavy metal relaxes. Violin or piano music can relax me. The music preferences are literally all over the place, and I know what I need to put me in a better mood. It can be odd sometimes. Mine depends on my mood. My musical choice depends on my mood. Sometimes I won't listen to the more of the really darker music when I'm in a good mood. And then obviously it's vice versa. Sean also says Ren is an amazing artist and person. Not sure if you recall, Otis, but I was playing that on my headphones loud when we were smoking on the porch in Texas. I don't remember, but that's interesting. Little bag note. That was when we were filming. And a Facebook user says the lack of empathy is related to their lack of education. You couldn't have said that any better. Whether via school or personal experience, it isn't real to them if they can't see it. So we hide. And that is an unfortunate truth. I think there has to be a little bit of empathy involved. You have to be, I mean, you don't have to be an empath, if you will, but
Mhm.
I mean, to be empathetic of somebody's problems, a lot of that is due to lack of education, lack of awareness. Um, and with that, an hour flies by quick. We went a little over, but I'm glad everybody stuck around to the end. So thank you guys who joined us live. Thank you to those who will be viewing later on our YouTube channel. And
And maybe leave us a comment when you watch it,
absolutely,
like, what songs do you feel resonate with
yeah.
your mental health, what helps you get through it?
Share your own personal song list, your set list
Yeah.
with us, and maybe your experiences with your traditional in an office type music therapy, if you've ever been through that. Um, and let's see, we don't have a per se topic for our next broadcast, but we got.
I think we were gonna do mental health mental health in movie like pop culture.
Oh, yes, yes, that's right. I'm glad you remember that. That's good. Because yeah, pop culture and mental health, as you mentioned earlier in the show, these artists, speaking about in their art, in their songs, talking about mental health, it's going to get people thinking. And there are some positive spins and some not so positive spins, some that support the stigma or don't really help it a whole lot, and
Mhm.
other mental illness in pop culture that takes and helps it out and tries to bring awareness. Yeah, so man, you got a better memory than I do.
Well, it was my idea.
It
Um,
was your idea, so and what
because
a great one.
I was saying that, we don't want to just jump into specific diagnoses. I
Mhm.
think it's easier if we, like we talked about music and how it relates to it. Next time we're going to be talking about like probably more movies and TV shows
Sure.
and how those relate to it. And then we can kind of start diving into specific diagnoses.
Oh, absolutely. The education process and educating yourself is a lengthy one. It isn't something, as you said, you can just jump right into. We're taking baby steps here.
Yep.
And I hope you all join us on this journey. Hopefully, this Debbie Paulson, who is usually our third host, she is off doing movie stuff. So, but I know she's listening. So again, I hope you guys were able to take something away from this, because that's really the big thing for us, is that you can take something positive away from it. Maybe it gets you thinking in a different way. Um, and
Even if we just help one person
one
for
person.
an episode, then it's worth it.
Absolutely. So with that being said, we will see you in 2 weeks. And remember, with open discussion, education, together, we will, I promise you, we will end the stigma. We'll see you next time.